Welcome to the Reddit library. Today we'll be looking at r/AskReddit, where user This Is Bill Gates asked, with all the negative headlines dominating the news these days, it can be difficult to spot signs of progress. What makes you optimistic about the future? People here are talking about cancer cure here. Standard medicine made the biggest breakthrough in history just last month. They cured 90 out of 90 infected mice with different kinds of cancers with just one shot of medicine. Aw man, I got cancer. Can't come to work today, boss. Psh, go get your stuff and get in here. Thanks to therapy and my sister's support, I've gone from being suicidal to being hopeful. I'm learning to overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable, and I can finally imagine myself living past the next few years. As long as you're still alive, there's still hope. Life can get better, and I'm going to fix mine. All 7 of my honeybee colonies are currently surviving the winter, and today they're bringing in the first pollen of the year. Edit. Also, please support native bees. For why and how at home, check out Bringing Nature Home by Douglas Tallamy, as well as butterflies like the monarch and bats. Yay, go bees! The good news is often quiet and subtle. The bad news is always loud. I try to remember that. Our headlines are splashed with crime, yet for every criminal there are 10,000 honest, decent, kindly men. If it were not so, no child would live to grow up. Business could not go on from day to day. Decency is not news. It is buried in the obituaries, but it is a force stronger than crime. The possible return of the American chestnut tree. Fast-growing, rot-resistant, and perhaps most important, it produces enough calories from the nuts to feed a population. Edit. It turned out that someone from WBUR in Boston saw the interest in this post and wrote an article and made a podcast about it. It's very good. The death of the American chestnut is also partially responsible for the severity with which the Great Depression struck Appalachia. Chestnuts were a primary food source for backup reserves in the form of herds of pigs that were allowed to free roam. The pigs could be sold or slaughtered to keep families afloat during hard times. The disappearance of the chestnuts killed the viability of the pig herds, causing the economic failsafe to collapse ecologically at the same time that the Great Depression made monetary reserves worthless. My students. They handle a complex, globally interconnected society in ways my generation, undergraduate at university in the 1970s, couldn't hold a candle to. Any color, any sexual orientation, any disability, any nationality, it's all good so long as they're not a butthole. We may be approximating Dr. Martin Luther King's hope for a world where people are judged by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin. I see the same thing in my students. I teach a preschool, and today a little boy whose parents are from Somalia, a little boy who was born in Kyrgyzstan, a little boy from Peru, and a little girl whose parents are from Mexico built a castle together. They don't care what color you are or where you're from, they just like building together. Bee population is on the rise. If we could work together to save the bees, we can deal with climate change. I hope we can deal with climate change, but it is a much bigger problem than the bees, mostly because the bees aren't costing anyone millions of dollars. I mean, I haven't heard much about ISIS recently. That's gotta be a good sign. They no longer control anything meaningful anymore. They're just your garden variety terrorist group now. Why do we even have that garden? In the analogy, the garden is our lives. ISIS are the garden variety weeds. If we give up the garden to the weeds, they've won. This analogy was much more accurate than I first expected when I started reading it. Well done, I'm really impressed. Advancements in medicine and gene therapy. The CRISPR technology has me very excited. Also, the James Webb Space Telescope is going to bring about many new discoveries. It feels like we haven't had a huge discovery recently. Hopefully we get something big within a decade or so. Edit. As many people have pointed out, we have made some significant discoveries recently. IDK man, evidence of the Higgs boson and the gravitational wave detection from LIGO were both pretty big news. While true, those discoveries don't result in any changes to the everyday lives of your average person. Things like CRISPR have that potential. Space. So much is unknown right now. Excited to see what can come in the future. Watched Falcon Heavy launch the other week and was amazed for the first time in a long time. That we're almost at the point where we get artificial organs. I could use a kidney. Edit. Guys, thanks a lot for your support, understanding, and most of all the selfless offers you've made. Be it a kidney or info. I love you all. Edit 2. I wish I could share some resources on how to be a living donor. If someone could help me in that front so I could share it here. I'm not from the States and I don't know where to start. This is the most humbling experience I've had on Reddit yet. Edit 3. Thanks to you/RagnarRuckus for this resource on living donation. And to you/Tambourine Time for this other resource. Please, if you're thinking of donating, have a look at these resources. I'm gonna get some laser eyes. I'm gonna be a repo man. Zydrate comes in a little glass vial. Mental illness awareness is rapidly growing, and people are more and more willing to assist those in need. Not only that, but people with mental illness are becoming less and less ashamed of said illnesses and actually seeking out help. Stigma goes both ways. Edit. Stop bringing up gun politics on my comment, you goddamn vultures. God, I'll never forget the day I called off at work because my anxiety was flaring up hard. My bosses took it seriously, sent me a nice email saying they understood it was serious and thanking me for how hard I was working. They've got my loyalty for life because they took it seriously. Shared collaborative projects like Wikipedia proving that people are inherently good. Wikipedia, you're welcome, college students. Just remember to use the resources given in the Wikipedia page, not the wiki itself as your reference. The increasing easiness of traveling anywhere in the world. Edit. This is what I was looking forward to. Also, nice optimism you got there, you Reddit bastards. It's easier than ever before in the history of the world, and it will continue to get easier. And yet my commute still takes 90 minutes in Friday rush hour traffic. Self-driving cars can't come fast enough. There's still people like you that donates like half of their money every year or whatever. Fist bum. Holy crud, I didn't realize Bill Gates was the OP until I saw your comment. The plummeting price of solar and wind energy. Edit. Thanks for the gold. I will be investing it in solar. Absolute upvote. In Australia, there has been incredible penetration of solar power in the last 10 years, all driven by the economics of solar power in the last 10 years. Well, 2018 is even better than the last 10 years in terms of prices, payoff periods, and sales of solar panels have reflected that. People are installing their panels en masse with zero subsidies, businesses big and small covering their roofs. It's so crazy, there might be a glut of power in SA when the sun shines at least. Edit. SA equals South Australia. Thanks, you/Royal Highness. In as few as 5 years' time considering the rate of growth. On one Sunday a few months ago, over 50% of all power in southern Australia was generated by rooftop solar alone. That's not even including wind and other large-scale renewables. We don't have hydro in South Australia. The magic of all this is that it only took a few years of government investment. The market has ramped up partly in thanks to those subsidies. We are reaping benefits and we will be for years to come. I quit smoking today. Congrats, I just quit last month after smoking for 20 years. Couldn't be happier. 3 years quit as of last month, after about 30 years. Congrats, keep it up, you got this. This is the most peaceful time in human history, and it is getting better. The better angels of our nature, and the fact that a billionaire has a platform to communicate 1v1 with everyday people. Thank you, Reddit. The Better Angels of Our Nature is the best book I've ever read. I've never had something completely change the way I view the world. It puts everything into perspective. Yeah, I wish everyone in the planet read it. It seems a lot of today's bad decisions are driven by fear of the future and ignorance of the past. We live such short lifetimes, have narrow perspectives. That book beautifully lays out history and humankind's slow rise out of violence and stupidity. r/uplifting news exists and it still gets content. We should be circulating good news rather than constantly refreshing bad news. Usually those headlines bring you down while bringing you up. Dog recovers from years of abuse. Mother jailed after torturing children. My dog, mainly. Picture or no pup. Top ever comment on puppers, no regrets. Here's one of mine. He's a happy pupper. The growing acceptance of people who are different. It might be a long, slow battle, but we are moving in the right direction. A lot of people are saying SpaceX and Elon Musk without really expanding, so I will. Commercial spaceflight. It's literally here right now, but it's going to get even cheaper in the future. The next step will be space tourism, but that won't be accessible to the average person for a few decades at least. Space construction. We've already done this with space stations, but cheaper commercial spaceflight will encourage larger buildings in space. Instead of launching completed modules like we have in the past, we're going to be launching subdivisions of modules that will dwarf even the ISS. I'm incredibly optimistic about whatever happens to be the next ISS. Asteroid mining. This one we probably won't see in our lifetimes unless the futurists are right and the first person to live to 200 is alive today. However, the potential of asteroid mining is astronomical. There are individual asteroids with more platinum and tungsten on them than the entire Earth has available. Once we have these materials in excess, who knows what new developments we'll see. Aluminum used to be exceedingly difficult to refine and rare. Once a reliable refining process was developed, we found a myriad of uses for aluminum that changed the world. I predict we'll see similar benefits from improved access to rare metals found abundantly in asteroids. Space tourism. Now that we've got commercial spaceflight and space construction is on the horizon, space tourism will become a booming industry. I'd be excited to spend a week on a luxury space station in the future. Mars. We're definitely going at some point, whether it is publicly or privately funded. I doubt there are any monsters there or that we'll have any visitors forced to grow potatoes with their excrement. However, Mars is the next logical destination for humanity's domination of the solar system. I hope I live to see the first colonization effort. Do you have any good news you want to share? Leave it in a comment below to be featured in an upcoming video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more from the library. See you soon.